There's a lot of pitchers in the relief role that can probably benefit to being traded out if you're Cincinnati. Position players, Scooter Gennett is available as a second baseman, which probably the A's shouldn't need, because now that Franklin Barreto is getting more of a starting spot and more playing time, the A's will probably choose to experiment with Barreto and see what they got in him after taking away Profar in the starting second spot. Now, in the outfield, however, Yasiel Puig is one of those guys that are available as well. It's really going to be interesting. The Cincinnati Reds are one of those teams that you could probably take a few players or two. Another team that you can probably look into, who are obvious sellers in the deadline, is going to be the New York Mets. Now, the New York Mets right now are almost in the same position as the Cincinnati Reds. They thought they were going to be a lot better this year. Jason Vargas was one of those guys that really had a horrible and forgetful year last year. This year has been pitching a lot better, but the attitude has been effective. They've already expressed interest in just letting him go. They do not want to deal with him anymore. They don't want him in the team anymore. He just has a bad image in the Mets locker room. So we already know that's to start off. Zach Wheeler is another one of the starting pitchers that they probably would try to let go as well. Now, the Mets, however, do not have much bullpen options that are left available for selling, at least selling-wise, because Jeurys Familia signed for a good amount of years. Edwin Diaz is signed for a good amount of years. And we all know Jeurys Familia is one of those guys who is going to be kept in that picture as well. Seth Lugo, I don't think he's going anywhere. So I think the really main attraction that is with the New York Mets is their starting pitching. Just because Zach Wheeler is good enough to get a good price or a good return. And also, just I think he is a good enough pitcher to be in any organization. Other teams, Detroit, have Shane Green, blah, blah, blah. We already spoke about that way long ago. Who else? The Orioles, I guess, with Michael Givens. Michael Givens, one of those guys that have been linked into Oakland by other sources. Not official sources by the Oakland Athletics, but they have very, very, very high interest, or the articles do, in having the experiment with Michael Givens going to a better pitching staff, which is the Oakland Athletics. In his stats right now, 4.76 ERA, 4.89 FIP, 3.61 xFIP, 12.97 K through 9 innings, and still has 3 minor league options. So it's literally not much you can give up for Michael Givens. Now, this is as low as Michael Givens is going to go. Do I think he's going to continue to struggle? I don't think so. Do I think that he's going to struggle if he goes to another team? I don't think so. I only think he's going to get better. And he was one of the better relief pitchers last year with the Baltimore Orioles. And even with the down year this year, he looks like he's one of those guys this year again. Now, Michael Givens is not going to only be seen by Oakland. We all know his stuff. That's the basic thing that they are hyped up about. The Oakland A's are with his stuff, or just articles trying to have Oakland trying to get Michael Givens. They're hyped up by the stuff. Now, remember, Blake Trinan, when he was with the Washington Nationals, when the A's were really interested in getting him, they went for him because of his stuff. The sinker is just otherworldly great. The fastball, him touching high amounts of miles per hour, with a lot of speed in that fastball, confidence being thrown in that fastball. That's what the Oakland A's wanted with Trinan. And I think there's something similar in Michael Givens that Blake Trinan possesses. Obviously, different repertoire, different amounts of pitches thrown, and different arsenals, basically. But Michael Givens can be just as elite as Blake Trinan was after that first full year with Oakland. And he's one of those guys that can probably benefit from a change to another system. We all know what he can do in Baltimore. There's sometimes where he's extremely great, unhittable, and when he's on, he is basically one of those unhittable pitchers that you do not want to face, whether you be a lefty or righty. And I think the A's would get a good amount of him, especially since he has 2+ years of control after the season. So that's going to be something that's going to attract other teams as well. But it definitely, I think, at least in my eyes, I see it attracts the Oakland A's up to now. Now, Other news of this week, the international draft was started this week as well. A lot of news. So what I did what I'm going to do this week is basically go over my opinionated top 30 prospect list. Now, this list consists of this year's MLB draft, the picks for the Oakland A's that they picked this year, and this also includes one player of the international draft that we saw earlier this week. Now, I am not expecting this to be the list that the MLB is going to put in, because the MLB has their own respected top 30 for list for the Oakland Athletics, and they have yet to update it. So I'm basically giving you my updated version with my opinion, and see how it goes, because I really think this one is pretty accurate in my opinion. So first, I got Jesus Luzardo. Jesus Luzardo, one of the guys that were brought back in the Sean Doolittle, Ryan Matson trade. You guys already know most of that. Everybody by now knows Jesus Luzardo. They are hyped up for this Florida native. This kid is legit. He's the real deal. And he is hurt, actually. This is a big blow to the starting rotation, which is why I think the A's should go for a starting pitcher, especially since Jesus Luzardo just got the notice that he's going through a grade 2 lat strain. Now, Jesus Luzardo has been hyped up since last year. He's just been hyped up. I mean, this guy has just been tremendous in any level that he has pitched in. So far this season, he has a 2.79 ERA and 19.1 innings pitched, 25 strikeouts, 3 home runs given up, 2 walks only. But the grade 2 lat strain is probably a good thing to hear injury-wise. As long as it's not the arm, the throwing arm, we should be good, right? But no. 2 to 3 months is expected generally in grade 2 lat strains. If it was a grade 1 lat strain, it would probably be 2 to 3 weeks, but this one is 2 to 3 months. And good thing it wasn't a grade 3 lat strain, because those typically take way more amounts of months. Hopefully he can recover from this. I mean, he's just been an injury type bug for the Oakland Athletics, really, with the smallest injuries that just been shutting him down, slowing him down to being called up. But the A's definitely need to see what they got in other starting rotation options. So Jesus Luzardo is my number one. I think he's going to be rated with a 60 overall rating, because other than the injuries, he does pitch well when he does pitch. High strikeouts and just a great overall pitcher. You have to have Luzardo in the number 1 spot. He is going to be hoped for to be the future ace, and later on, I mean, just after this season, I mean, if he comes back this season, he'll show what he got. He's expected to be back. Let's see, it's July. Okay, July, August, probably end of August, early September. Hopefully we get to see some Luzardo. And we just got to keep in mind that even when he does come back, he only has 19.1 innings pitched this season at all. Overall, that's just minor leagues. So he's going to definitely need some more minor league innings, and hopefully he would be ready for a call-up when he is ready. AJ Puk is my number 2. Now, the only reason why I have AJ Puk is because he just has really good stuff, man. And Puk is struggling at the moment with a 6.48 ERA and 8.1 innings pitched, 2 home runs given up, 6 walks. The controls have been a bit of an issue. That's a lot of walks for that little small amount of innings pitched for him so far this season. But the thing that is still consistently going is the strikeouts. 13 strikeouts so far in those 8.1 innings pitched. Definitely have to have AJ Puk and Jesus Luzardo at the top. Those two are the top 10 left-handed pitchers in all baseball for the prospects. Right now, they are still in the top 10 left-handed pitchers for the MLB pipeline. So definitely have those two at the first two. Sean Murphy is my third, just because I am a big Sean Murphy fan. I am probably going to be a little biased on this list because I think some people are a little better than others, and this is just going to be towards my opinion, but it's my list, and let's see what's up. And I'm not really aiming to be close to the MLB ratings, but it hopefully is just going to be just my opinion of and you guys can agree with me. I think it's pretty reasonable, my list. But Sean Murphy is my third spot, just because he has the hype and the potential in being a game-changing defensive player and offensive player. And for the catching situation, he is with good company. Josh Phegley, Chris Herman, those two have been dominant. And so far in their stint with the Oakland Athletics at the major league level, and definitely going to be a factor into letting Sean Murphy speed up his recovery. I mean, the A's are not trying to rush Sean Murphy right now with his recovery, with the injury list that he has been placed under. So Murphy is another concern injury-wise. Hopefully it's not too much. Luzardo's, so the top three are injury-prone, technically, because A.J. Puck had that Tommy John surgery. He has those back spasms earlier in his career. Jesus Luzardo having injuries a lot. We got him from the Washington Nationals. He was already recovering from a Tommy John, and then he came out, and then he had another problem with the arm, and now the lat strain. And Sean Murphy, the same can go to him. Last year was missing out with an injury as well. I really can't remember what the injury was for, but this season another injury. So the top three that I put out just have the skills, the stuff to be great MLB players. And I think it's just undebatable that these top three are going to be the top three for at least the rest of this year. I don't think any of them are going to have that much playing time in the MLB to really be rated out in this list and pass the requirements to be a prospect. But at the fourth spot, Robert Puason. Now, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this correctly, but Robert Puason is the 16-year-old that we just acquired from the international draft spot. He was rated two overall, second overall, best international prospect available. He was already linked into Oakland's interest. The A's have been looking at him, really, really been eyeing on him. The big thing about him that a lot of people like is the fielding ability and the ability for him to hit. Now, he has a plus arm. He is a plus runner. But he is also 16 years old. He can probably shape into be one of the better prospects for the Oakland Athletics. And I have him at the 4th spot just because I think he is good enough in people's eyes to be one of the top-rated prospects. Now, remember, Jorge Ruiz, former international prospect that we acquired like 2 or 3 years ago, was also top 5 rated prospect, and he immediately was at the 8 or 10 spot in the overall list. Now, Puason can be in that situation as well. I think they'll rate him a little higher just because he's a position player. He's a shortstop. Shortstops usually get a lot of love from the international prospect list, or just in the list overall. So I think Puason will be either in the 4 to 6 range. I can probably take 7 or 8. I don't think the first 2 spots would be his or the 3rd. But I can deal with 7 or 8. But I just have him as a 4 just because I'd rather just give the new kid a good spot in his favor. Now, the 5th spot, this is where things get a little shaky, a little different, because they have this kid, I think it's 7 or 8th, and I have him at 5th. Jorge Mateo. Now, Jorge Mateo has really broke out this season. He has been everything that the Oakland A's needed in minor leagues perspective. He's been smashing in the AAA team that he's been playing for, which is the Las Vegas Aviators. And I think he will be an upgrade rating wise too. I think he'll be a 55 rated player, and that is an above average player. And I think he'll make the top 100 list. at some point this season. But we are really, really lucky to have Jorge Mateo